The construction industry is one of the most highly litigated industries in the entire world. Between liens, change orders, project delays, it can all really turn into a big mess. But knowledge is power, and I've decided to share that power with any contractor who's willing to ask. You're now watching Ken's Construction Q&A.
Hey everybody, this is attorney Kenneth Stevens from the law firm Stevens PLLC, and you're catching episode 2 of Ken's Construction Q&A. It's actually pretty late at night. Having a great week, really busy, things have really picked up, but I've committed to doing these videos, so I'm going to do them. I'm going to continue to share them with you. I'm going to continue to answer your questions. I'll be out of town this week. I leave to go out of town on Wednesday, but I think I'm actually going to do a episode from the hotel or from the venue because it's actually the construction law conference. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with y'all. But anyway, without any further delay, let's get into this thing. Sam says, Ken, I'm owed about $9,800 on a project. Doesn't it make sense to just go down and file this in small claims court? You know, handle it myself and save on the attorney's fees? Excellent question, Sam. Under most circumstances, I probably wouldn't disagree with small claims court if you're under a certain dollar amount. However, the closer you get to $10,000, the further and further I back away from small claims court. The reason being is that small claims court, the maximum amount that a jury or a judge can award you is $10,000. So you probably look at it and think to yourself, well, $9,800, I'm under the threshold, why not go down there and file it? But what you're not thinking about is the fact that if the worst thing that can happen is that the defendant has to pay $10,000, why wouldn't they go all the way to trial and take their chances rather than pay you the $9,800? You also aren't leaving yourself any room for, attorney's fees or any kind of additional damages to pile on top of that $9,800. You only got a $200 buffer. So I would say under that circumstance, you probably don't want to do small claims court. You probably want to try to work it out. If you can't, you may want to look at county court. And you're going to want to talk to an attorney for that because you can't go down to county court and file it yourself. George says, Ken, recently I signed a contract on a project, but then after looking into the company, I'm really not comfortable doing business with them. Am I officially on the hook? Another good question. Unfortunately, the answer is more than likely. If you really don't want to do business with them, you can try and talk to them and see if you can work it out and get out of that agreement. But if you've signed a contract and agreed to do work on a project for a certain price, and then you later, even if the work hasn't started, you later back out of that contract and it costs them more money than what they were supposed to pay you, you're going to be responsible for that difference in cost. So I would say what you need to do in the future is to do your due diligence on the company ahead of time so that you know whether or not it's somebody you want to do business with. Check references, look into other projects, do a D&B search, all those different things so that you know whether or not this is somebody you want to get into business with. But for now, sounds like you might be on the hook. But if the project hasn't started, go ahead and talk to them. See if it's something that they would be willing to let you out of. But you got to be careful because that could result in what's called an anticipatory breach, and that could be problematic for you as well. I would advise you to go and talk to an attorney about that. Tanya says, Kenneth, I was contracted to do about $75,000 worth of work on a project. I got a little excited and my team started doing the work. Once we completed about $25,000 worth of work, we realized the contract was never signed by the owner. The owner is now refusing to sign and it's making me nervous. What should I do? Can I file a lien if they don't pay me? Yeah, I get this question a lot. A lot of people end up in this situation. Sometimes, you guys jump the gun on going ahead and doing work before you've actually got the contract executed. It happens in all businesses, legal, construction, you name it. In this situation, you definitely want to make sure that you get that agreement executed. If they are unwilling to execute the agreement, get you a lawyer to send a letter telling them that you're going to stop work until you guys can, finally memorialize the agreement. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a precarious situation. To your second question, can you file a lien? The answer is actually yes. If the project is commercial, you don't have anything to worry about. As long as you perform labor on the project or you provide materials, you have a right to file a lien, especially if you have a contract directly with the owner, because you have a right to file a constitutional lien. However, if this is a residential project, you may run into problems, especially if it's been designated as a homestead. As you know, or as you should know, when it comes to residential projects, you're required to have a written contract. That contract is required to be signed by the husband and the wife. It is required to be filed in the county. So you got a lot of different hoops you got to jump through when you're doing residential work. Failure to jump through these various hoops could be considered DTPA violations, and so it's just a lot, a lot more headache, a lot more there when you're dealing with residential. So to answer your question, if it's commercial, more than likely you're good to go. If it's residential, you may want to look into that a little bit more. But in any event, because it's still early on, I would really push and get that contract signed. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, that you all enjoyed it. Continue to send me questions. Shoot them off to me. No question's a dumb question, no matter whether it's litigation related, it's construction related, it's contracts related. If I know the answer, I'll share it with you. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out the answer and I'll share it with you. Also, share this thing. Also, get in those comments. That's what keeps me going. That's why I'm up late at night after working pretty late to shoot this information to you all. I love the interaction. I love feeling like I'm helping you all. So definitely share, comment, and send me more questions so that I have great questions to choose from. Y'all have a good one and happy building.